मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए। मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार। कोई जब राह न पाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए। मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार। जीवन का यही है दस्तूर, प्यार बिना अकेला मजबूर। दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर, दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर। कोई काहे ठोकर खाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए। मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार।
Govinda Bhagavan ki. Sisters and brothers, beloved devotees, Jai Sitaram. Very warm welcome to the Anteshni Samskar of James Isaac. I want to invite you all to please take a seat, and we won't start the funeral ceremony just yet. We want to allow a few moments for family members, loved ones, those who have journeyed from near and far, members of the community where this noble soul would have resided, to come and pay your last respects. To come, you can view the body and so, and in a little while from now we'll commence our ceremony. So we're going to offer this timing, because when we commence the ceremony, we will move directly from the end of the ceremony straight to the cremation site. Yes? So we'll offer a few moments. What I want to encourage, and I would really appreciate if we all can follow the instructions so that we can have a smooth, very smooth proceeding here this morning. So those who wish to view the body, and they come and pay your last rites, and so you can come this way in front of these gentlemen here, the sons and grandson, and then you'll exit on the greater opening on that side. A reminder that we are still adhering to COVID-19 protocols, so we will not have too much touching of the puja samagri and the thali for arti and all those things. There will be one individual who will be performing and doing those things. With regards to those who are performing the ceremony, they will just touch hands. So that once we are clear about these things, then we can proceed. So we give the daughters-in-law, the grandchildren, brothers and sisters who may have come, and other members of the community ample time at this point to come and pay your last respects. Sitaram, everybody. प्रेम से बोलो श्री गोविंद भगवान की जय. Sisters and brothers, beloved devotees, members of the bereaved family, friends, relatives and well-wishers, I invite all to please stand at this juncture as we commence our ceremony. bend your heads in prayer as we think of that Lord and Master Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj. Hey Prabhu, Hey Param Se Pare Bhagavan, on this most auspicious morning that we have gathered here to join in the Anteshti Samskar, Anteshti here meaning the final rites of that life of Sri James Isaac Ji. We think of you, Prabhu, and we ask that may you embrace the Atman of this noble soul and grant unto us, those who have remained, the strength and courage to move forward. We pray. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Yam Brahma Varunindra Rudra Marutah Sundvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sampada Kramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samakaha Dhyana Vasidataragate Damanasa Prashanti Yam Yugino Yasyantam Naviru Surasuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangete Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Paramanandam Madhavam Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kansachanur Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagat Guru. Together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Lift your voices. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Once more. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Govinda Bhagavan ki Jai. Aram se sit comfortably. Offer the flowers that you have there by his feet. We bend our heads in prayer as we join in the sankalp that these children and grandchildren, the sons and grandsons of Sri James Isaac have taken that resolute to perform this ceremony, this Anteshti Samskar for their father. I want to remind us that Sanatan Dharma gives us the opportunity to do something for our parents, even though they are no longer here. Performance of ceremonies of this nature, in no way children can repay the debt to their parents. We cannot. We cannot repay that debt to our parents. However, we have an obligation and we have a duty to perform. And today, sons and grandsons, they have stepped up to that role and that most vital and most important responsibility in performing this karma. And it is referred to as Shraddha karma. So we think of Bhagavan as we pray. Om Vishnu 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 Sri Sri Brahmano Yavheya Vidihena Parardhe Sri Sveta Vada Kalpeya Vaivasvataman Vandire Ashtavinshati Tame Kaliyuge Pratham Chadane Trinida Deshi Mukha Grame Punya Kshetreya Vaidhyavatareya Vartamaneya Yatha Nama. Keep in mind your name, your Rasi name, and of course the name of your father. संवत्सरे अमुकायाने अमुक मासे अमुक पक्षे अमुक तिथौ अमुक वासरे अमुक कन्क्षेत्रे अमुक योगे अमुक कर्णे अमुक राशि स्थिते सूर्ये अमुक राशि स्थिते शशांके च यशेषु ग्रहेशे यथा यथाय रशीय स्थानस्तेषु अमुक गोत्रस्य अमुक नाम अमुक प्रेतस्य his name अंत्येष्टेय कर्माय अहम करिष्ये ओम श्री विष्णवे 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 नमः गोविंद भगवान की जय offer the flowers at his feet take flowers again in your hands white flowers we think of Bhagwan Sri Vishnu we pray together Hari Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogibhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokeikanatam Sarvalokeikanatam Om Sri Vishnave 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 Namaha Sri Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Offer the flowers once more at his feet. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Sprinkle water, walk around. Fellas, you will touch hands. In a clockwise direction, Ashran, sir, and we will go. Walk around 3 times, okay? Om Madhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Manistane Shavannimitam Snanam Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Snanam Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Manistane Shavannimitam Snanam Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Snanam Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Om Madhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mridhisthane Shavannimitam Sri Snanam Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Tavopatishatam Govindaya Namaha Sri Krishnaya Namaha Sri Krishnaya Namaha Sri Narayanaya Namaha Hari Om Prem se bolo Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj ki Jai. We will use Ashtan. We offer Chandan. Use the Peter pointer finger. Put the Chandan coming down. Okay. Om Madhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritishtane Shavannimitam Gandham Mayaditi Tavopatishatam Gandham Mayaditi Tavopatishatam. You can give the rest of the brothers and the grandchildren and they will offer. Sri Vishnave Namo Namaha Vishnave Vishnave Namo Namaha Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritisthane Shavannimitam Gandham Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Gandham Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Gandham Mayadiyate Tavopatishatam Hari Om Sri Vishnave Namaha Vishnave Namaha Vishnave Namaha Kasturetilakam Lalatapatale Vakshastale Kaustubam Nasagre Vadamodikatale Venukanikam Kanam Sarvange Harichandanam Sulilam Khante Cha Muktavali Gopasri Pariveshitu Vijayate Gopala Churamani Gopala Churamani Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Govinda Bhagavan ki Jai Sharanam. So we are about to garland the body. Very often one may ask why these rituals are performed. Well, the body is worshipped because it housed a very noble soul. Bhagavan is Paramatma, we are Atman. And today, as they garland this body and they worship this body, we are saying that his life was a puja. This is part of the puja of life. And when we perform puja, there's a final offering that is done in the Havan, which is called Purnahuti. Sri James Isaac, this sharir, this body that housed the Atman, because we cannot identify with the Atma, we identify with the physical features. The Atma by itself cannot act. The body by itself, the sharir, cannot act. There has to be the merger of both, and that is referred to as the Jivan Atma. It is only when the Jivan Atma moves forward that we can have experiences. So now they are both separated, and that is called death. When the Atman leaves the sharir, there is no more life in that body. Life itself is a force, a life force. So today we are garlanding this sharir, this body, because it is indeed befitting of worship for such a most important task that has been completed. We will see that the mala is broken, and it's quite instructive in life. One, it is logistics. We cannot lift the head at this point. We can only garland around. So we can't put it around his neck. So that is one. The other, it is quite symbolic because it says that Toot gaye hai mala moti. Look at it today. So that toot means to break. So this mala is broken, symbolizing that this physical bond is broken today. When you look in the chair that uncle used to sit on, he will be no more. That chair is going to be empty. Sometimes you might hear a song playing on the radio that he would love. When I came in, I heard the beautiful, long, yesteryear songs being played. He was a filmy guy, he loved those songs. And when you hear it, you will remember it. You will remember him. But physically he will not be there. However, that connection could never be broken. As long as these children and grandchildren, they live, that blood runs in their veins. That blood runs in their veins. And that is why in Sanatana Dharma, when someone passes, in particular mother or father, the entire lineage, as the older heads would say, becomes a sutta. It means that we have to observe that period of mourning, and that whether you agree or you don't agree, whether you're talking or you're not talking, because it is something that happens in families nowadays, whether you're in this country or another, the rules of mourning applies still. Because that vein, that blood runs through your veins. So we ask the children and grandchildren to garland the sharir at this point. Om Madhya Mukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritishrane Shavannimitam Sri Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam Adhya Mukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritishrane Shavannimitam Sri Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam. Om Madhya Mukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritishrane Nimitam Sri Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam Tavo Patishtatam. Hari Om. Govinda Bhagavan Ki Jai. You all will perform Aarti now. Walk in a clockwise direction while waving the Aarti and 5 times, yes. Touch hands and go. Om Madhya Mukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritistani Shavannimitam Deepam Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam Deepam Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam Adhya Mukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritishane Nimitam Sri Deepam Maya Diyate Tavo Patishatam Deepam Maya Diyate Tavo Padishtatam. Hari Om. Together, friends, we join. Jai Krishna Hari Sri Krishna Hari Dukhiyo ko dukha dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hari. Together. Jai Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Jab char taraf andhiyara ho आशा का दूर किनारा हो. जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो और कोई न केवत वाला हो फिर तू ही मेरा पार करो. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे. जय 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 तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विष को भी अमृत कर दे. तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विष को भी अमृत कर दे. पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा. जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. Together everyone. जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे. गोविंद भगवान की जय. Offer the flowers at the feet. And now we'll offer the first pinda. The bhajan is one of the most instructive for us that we have just sung. It is one of those eternal bhajans, they will never grow old. because it is charged with so much meaning. Jai Krishna Hare, Sri Krishna Hare. Dukhiyo ko dukh dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare. That when we are bombarded with sorrows, adversities, difficulties, dukhiyo, dukh dur kare. Dur means what? Far. So that Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he takes all our troubles very far from us. Now, it depends on where you stand and the perspective you have on death will determine your emotions and outcomes here this morning. If death is a light or a darkness. For some, death becomes a light, for it renders one free from pain and suffering and adversities. For others, it is something that would have snatched a loved one. So how do you look at it? The bhajan says, Jab char taraf niyara ho, asha ka dur kinara ho. In the four directions, when there is darkness, jab char taraf, andhyara means darkness. When we are plagued with that ominous cloud of darkness, of bereavement, that pain and hurt surrounds us from the four directions. Asha kadur kinara, when as hope, asha is hope, seems to be very far away. Bhagavan comes as the kevat. The kevat is a type of individual, a type of person on the banks of the river that facilitates transport across that river. They are referred to as kevat. So Bhagavan comes as the kevat to transport us across this ocean of sorrow and bereavement. Yet again, how do you view death? As a light or as a darkness? Tu chahe tu sab kuch kar de, vish ko bhi amrit kar de. That Lord changes that which is poison into nectar. Death, if you view it as a poison, He will change that into nectar. Death is inevitable. Every individual who is seated here this morning, one day that time will come and we all will have to go. One day you too might hold my shoulder and say, Pandit Raj, don't worry. This same message that I am giving to you, you will one day reciprocate to me. And maybe to my loved ones. No one knows. What I would like to share with you, in my very infant stage of Panditai, when I became initiated, some of my very first born children, and I always tell them that, were Ashton, Michael and Linda, right here at this home. And I can distinctly remember this because it has etched a mark upon my soul. Because as a young Pandit coming up, they would have given me that opportunity to guide their children, both auntie and uncle. And I often say to Uncle James, sometimes I call him Star Boy when I meet him and say, boy, you have a Hollywood name, man. James Isaac. And you know, when you hear James Isaac and you look at the man, you see the name and the man doesn't match. You're looking for somebody else. And he would laugh. And I also said to him, from the day I have come to know this family, he looks the same way. He does not look any way different. He did not change. More than 22 years ago, when I became part of this family. 22 years, and it seems just as yesterday. To lose a father, to lose not someone that restricts you, as some may like to think, not someone who wields the whip to administer punishment, but I often say, fathers are like beacons, that in the storm of life, he sheds that light to guide his children to safety and into the right direction. Very simple man, very simple and humble soul. And I'll say to you, he had his way. He has his chair, he has his plate, he has his cup. Don't tell him about anything else. That is what he knows. But whatever he does, when it comes, or when it came to his children, he did it with all his love. And for this reason I say to you, friends, that children could never repay the debt to their parents. Mothers will carry you in their tummy for 9 months. Our scriptures declare, Matro Devo Bhava, mother is God. Then Pitro Devo Bhava, father is God. Then Acharya Devo Bhava. What does it mean? Mother brings you into this world and she directs you to Father. Father embraces you in this world, protects you and guides you, points you to the Guru. Guru, friends, Guru embraces you and points you in the direction of Bhagavan. So Father is God. We often hear that Father is like God. I want to say to you this morning, Mother is God and Father is God. Bend your head as we make this offering of the first Pinda. Hari Om Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukha Pretasya Mritastane Shavannimitam Ishate Pindo Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam Pindo Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam. Offer it on the right hand. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Take flowers in your hands again, sir. He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Govinda Bhagavan ki Jai. At this point, we have the granddaughter who will be bringing to us the eulogy, Shania. Yes, so we welcome her to the mic.
Sitaram, my name is Shania, granddaughter of James Isaac, fondly known as Duke. I would like to thank you all for being here today to celebrate the life of my grandfather. He was born on the 17th of February, 1944, and lived his childhood days in good mansions. He later got married to my grandmother, the late Lahari Isaac, on the 12th of May, 1972. They both lived a life full of great happiness and joy. Our grandfather was a quite simple man. He never asked for big favors nor expected anything in return. I admired this about him. He filled our house with great love and peace. One of the fondest childhood memories I have with my grandfather is when every evening at exactly 4 p.m., my brother and I would be seated beside him, helping him check his playway tickets. This was a very serious task in his household. Though he was a very quiet, nonchalant person, there was always a fun goofy side of him. A couple nights ago, his sister, Tanti Juby, shared a quite memorable story with us. She said growing up, Duke was a very wicked little boy. One day, he told Rebecca to go upstairs and jump over the railing and he would catch her. Take a guess how that went. When Rebecca decided to jump, James got and ran away and leave Rebecca to fall down. She was never a dull moment with him. It's hard to say goodbye to such a pure soul. Although he may not be physically present with us, he has left behind a legacy of his love and perseverance. The ways he touched our lives will remain, and I ask that you keep these memories alive. We love you always and will forever be in our hearts. Thank you. I also have a voice message from his niece Cindy.
Morning, everyone. For the ones who don't know me, I'm Cindy, the late Daniel's last daughter. In this sad time, I wanted to extend my love and support to Linda, Ashton, Popo, and Harold. You guys were there for us in our time of grieving, and it breaks my heart that I can't be there. Uncle James, the last time you heard my voice was a couple weeks ago, and you cried. Today I sent my last message with tears that kept flowing since I heard of your passing, and it felt like I've lost my dad all over again. Do me a favor, if you can't hear me, let my dad know how much I miss him as you reunite with Auntie and my parents.
Thank you.
Govinda Bhagavan ki jai. So at this point, I think we'll have Uncle James's niece, Nadia. Yes. So she will bring to us greetings.
Sitaram, good morning. I was asked by my cousins to just share some memories with Uncle. So here goes. A walk down memory lane with Uncle James. Uncle was a very quiet and my mom's favorite brother. His niece Sandra's memory of him was that he would make a joke but wouldn't laugh. He tried to stay very serious. My brother Lincoln said that he would ride his bike from Rock Road to Pinap, where we lived. And when he used to hang out and drink with my dad, he would start singing. He had a lovely voice and loved jamborees. My other sister Annie said that when she visited, he would have Tanti cook her something special and made sure that she was always fed and taken care of. Ria, my other sister, said when she visited with her husband and kids some years ago, and Ria, my other sister, remember Uncle playing the mouth organ. He actually played for her when she visited with her husband and her kids some years ago. My younger sister June remembered him giving all of us a shot of punching and saying it's good for the worms, and making cook in the fireside when she and Ria came on vacation. He was a good cook, as my cousin Joanne, who he called Bulu, would agree. Uncle never called Joe by her real name, always Joe or Bulu. I remember how we loved playing cards. Uncle James was a family man. He was a good uncle, a wonderful husband, a great dad who loved his kids and grandchildren very much, a loving son and brother. We will surely miss you, Uncle. Rest in peace. I have his nieces and nephew from Canada said he wanted me to read little thing. heavens. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Good day, family and friends, and God's blessing to everyone. On behalf of Lincoln, Annie, Rhea, June, sister of Sister Doll Kids, and Trevor, Auntie Julie, son, we are sending our heartfelt condolences to our cousin Harold, Linda, Ashton, Popo, and their family. There are so many memorable moments we all recall of our Uncle James. So many fond memories, but what sticks out most to me is how he always appeared to be quiet and still, but behind that charade was a funny, caring, and loving uncle. Whenever we visited his home, he would make the most delicious food for us. He made one of the best roast pork ever, and he was so proud of it too. Trevor said Uncle loved to cook, and he would always call him over to take a taste. And we all know how Trevor loved that. One very fun memory I have of him was a visit to his home. Everyone was cooking shatine and roti on the fireside, and we were dancing and having drinks. Visiting Goodman Trace was an epic event. It started with Uncle Daniel, his older brother, now deceased. Then we stopped at his house. You can always find him rocking in the hammock. Then Uncle Franklin and Uncle Malu. And it was no surprise by the time we ended up at Auntie Julie up the hill, belly full, adults a little tipsy, someone starts singing, usually Uncle James. Rock Road visits will never be the same anymore. No Uncle James to stop by and visit with. These memories etched so clearly in our hearts. Rest in eternal peace, Uncle James. We know you are resting. You no longer have to miss your loving wife or worry about being sick. I am not sure how or what exactly happens after death. But for now, I am believing that you have met your mom, Nanny, your siblings, Doll, our mom, Uncle Daniel, Uncle Malu, Uncle Franklin, Tanti Nargis, Tanti Betty, and your wife, Tanti Goodley. To his children and our cousins, your dad was such a wonderful, quiet, and kind man. His memory will live on with you and your children, as well as all of us, his nieces and nephews. Love always, Lincoln, Annie, June, and Trevor. Thank you.
Govind Bhagavan ki Jai. So before we do a few verses of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, I'd like to call on Uncle Ramesh because yes. So he was very close and fond of Uncle James, and I think both of they were fond of each other, and he was a regular at this household. So Uncle Ram.
Thank you very much, Pandit. Of course, on behalf of the Sumati Sabha, Ramayan, Bhajan and Chota group, I'd like to extend to the members of the Guru family, my Ashton, my Michael, and other members of the family, our deepest condolences. Of course, of your Bhajan. Friends Rosi Vrindavan Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki Jai. Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kund Bihari, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kund Bihari, Jai Gopi Janavallabha, Jai Gopi Janavallabha, Jai Giravardhari, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kundra Bihari, Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीर बलिचारी जय गिरवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी मुरली मनोहर करुणा सागर मुरली मनोहर करुणा सागर मुरली मनोहर करुणा सागर मुरली मनोहर करुणा सागर जय गोवर्धन धारी जय गिरवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी प्रेम स्वरूप श्री वृंदावन श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय।
Govind Bhagavan ki jai. Friends, I invite you to bend your heads as we recite a verse from the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. Hari Om. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshana Sukha Dukkadaha Agama Paino Nitya Samtatishvasya Bharata Samtatishvasya Bharata Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Govind Bhagavan ki jai. Bhagavan Sri Krishna becomes the charioteer for Arjuna on that battlefield of Kurukshetra. One side we have the Kauravas, which is a representation of negativity. The other side we have the Pandavas, which represent positives. Bhagavan Sri Krishna drove that chariot of Arjuna in the very middle of that battlefield. It's quite instructive to us, because for spiritual growth we must look beyond good and bad. And that is what happens in life. We like to say what is good and bad, and that is, quite subjective. Because Lawrence Woodward who's a philosopher and who brought to the world principles of morality. He talks about 3 conventions of morality. So if I were to paint a picture for you and said that a guy, young boy, broke into the pharmacy and stole medication, first thing you will say, he stole Panditji, lock him up, throw away the keys. Fed up on this thing. Law of the land says that is what he has done, throw it away. If everything was so clear cut, then we would not need a judge. We would not need a judge. If that what is said in the books, you stole, then the time will be given, you pay, you do the crime, you do the time. Then you wouldn't need a judge, would you? Because that's the law. So now I continue with the story, because many will say, if you steal, lock up. Upon investigation, you recognize that this young man, all he had was his father. And because he could not support, he had no way of income, he broke into this pharmacy and he stole medication to stay the life of his father. Something happens now. Something changes in you. Now if that child were to be arrested and he is thrown away, his father will die and he will be lost in prison. Conventions of morality, that is why you need a judge. Because he would have erred, he would have made a mistake, but anyone in that position will understand why he would have done it. And if given a chance, 99.9% of us here today would do the same thing repeatedly. So save the life of a loved one. So in life, everything is not clear cut. And that's why Sri Krishna drove that chariot to the middle of the battlefield, where it is a place of neutrality. Not good, no bad. But you have to look at things. So he says in life, O Arjun, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshana sukta dukdaha agma paino nityas samtatashvasa bharata. Happiness and sorrow, they go together. Pleasure and pain, they go together. Hot and cold, they go together. One is relative to the other, meaning without sorrow, we will not know what is happiness. Without heat, we will not know what is cold. Without pain, we cannot identify with pleasure. And without death, we will not know what is life. Yes? Many, all of us friends would die. But how many of us have lived? All of us will die. But how many of us have lived? Very often we are bombarded with the age-old rhetoric. What people will say. What they will say. Today, as your humble servant, I stand here. Live a good life. And I say to you, live a good life. Live a life that when you die, look around. Look around. Simple man, yet today is a public holiday. People could spend it with their family doing something. But they took that time to come, to be here, this home, to lend support to this family, the Isaac family. They're losing the passing of their father. They are here because of the karma, the actions performed by this noble soul. We live a life, friends, where when you have wealth, you are given respect and adoration based on how much money you have. And that's a reality. And that is something we should get away from. No longer it is based on a man's merit and his good deed, but how big your wallet is. That is how much respect you're going to get. This gentleman, for the many years I have known him, he was always a very kind and humble soul and offered to me the greatest of respect. There were times when he found it a bit difficult to walk, and I would come to the home. These boys, Linda and the daughters-in-law, Sharon, and the children, they will bear witness. He will call me. Say, I just want a little blessing, Mama. The simplicity and humility. He was a very emotional guy. From the time you sang anything that he can identify with, he reminds you of my father. Incidentally, both of them went to school together. So whenever I meet him and I say Sitaram, the first thing that follows, how your father going? That was my schoolmate, That was like a rehearsed line. Until every time I tell him Sitaram, I say Sitaram, Uncle Daddy going good. He said that. And then when I visit my father and I said, well, when by Ashan, he said, how is father going, boy? I said, boy, well, like clockwork. Same question, same way, all you ask. For 22 years, this morning when I told him that I'm coming to do the funeral ceremony, he was very, very quiet. Many thoughts ran through, and he did remind me, he said, I went to school with him. We went to the same school. Very quiet, very somber, just like this, that I have narrated to you. One of the songs that I know that touched him, Uncle James Isaac, was that beautiful song from Ek Phool Do Mali. I know Uncle Ramesh will know this song, many of you will know it. I am not a songster and a singer like many of you, but the bhajan, the song really says, Tujhe suraj kaho ya chanda, tujhe deepak ho ya tara, mera naam karega roshan, jag mein mera raj dulara. Tujhe सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीपक हो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा लाज दुलारा. Sometimes we do not identify with the Father's love. We know Mother because she would have brought us into this world. We know her definitely. And the love of a mother, nothing can compare. But it does not mean that Father has no love. I was saying initially that mothers carry you in their tummy for 9 months before they bring you into this world. Me being a father myself, I want to say no uncertain terms. Fathers carry you in their hearts for a lifetime. Always remember that. तुझे सूरज कहो या चंदा, तुझे दीपक हो या तारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा लाज दुलारा. My child, what should I call you? Should I call you the sun, the moon, the stars? I will call you Roshan. What is the meaning of Roshan? The one who brings light. See? Roshan, Roshni. So to all children here, whether you recognize it or not, but in the life of your parents and in the life of your father, You have brought so many joy, so many happiness. You have become the light in their life. And that is why children must be very cautious and wary in what they say and what they do and how they act towards their parents. The simple things you may do that you may be quite aloof and do not recognize, but it touches every spot and vein and atom in that of your parents and in your father. Sometimes as fathers, you may have to make the difficult decisions. The child is asking for something and you know as a father it is not good. Will you give it to the child? The answer is no. The child will cry. The child will suske. I mean, it has happened to me. It pains you to see your child in distress. But the harsh decisions are made. And it is made for the benefit of children. Children will never understand that until they become parents themselves. One more verse, and then we will offer, a few other individuals came, so we'll offer a few moments again, and then we will conclude the ceremony here, and then we will move to the cremation side. But I want to share with you just one of the verses of this beautiful bhajan. You can find it. Yes. And this is something that we don't think about as children. आज उंगले हाँ के तेरे तुझे मैं चलना सिखाऊं, कल हाथ पकड़ना मेरा जब मैं बुद्ध हो जाऊं, तू मिला तो मैंने पाया जिनका मैं न सहारा, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, मेरा नाम करेगा रोशन, जग में मेरा लाज गवारा. The father is saying to the child, my child, today I hold your what? Your fingers, your hands, and I teach you to walk. One day, my child, when I get old, your hands will be my support. Commendations to the children of this home, all of them, those who are here and those who are abroad and could not be here. But not for one moment, which is a common trend now, where our lives have become so busy, so fast-paced. Children have become lettered, they have become educated, all the different letters behind their names. And they say, it is very difficult to take care of mom and dad, so we're going to put you into a home for the aged. My mother, she's always say, it's not directed to us, I am certain, but she always says, son, one mother and father could take care of 10 children, or 10 children can't take care of one mother and father. The children of this home never for one moment thought about putting their father into a home. And that is very noble and commendable for children. I want you to remember that, children. For your parents who have grown old, uncle has reached the age, I think it's of 78, yes? 78 years. Full life. And when the children are small, not for one day, they would have deserted the children. Today, when they grow old, they need our support. Govinda Bhagavan ki jai. Let us speak here for our loved ones, in particular our mother and father, when they have grown old. Offer the flowers. At this juncture, I want to pass back to Uncle Rameshji, who will give us a few kirtan or so, And then what we're going to have, those of you, you can sit down, Uncle Ram. I will bring the mic to you. You earn that opportunity. We'll give those who did not get a chance to view the body of deceased James Isaac. You will only be allowed to offer flowers. As I indicated in the beginning, we are still within COVID intervention, so we must adhere to those things. Me being the Pandit, I am in charge of the ceremony, whether you like it or not. And if anything was to go awry, first person they would like to hold responsible is the priest. And nobody would like a better joke than that. Yes? So I would have to take all the necessary precautions. So you are allowed to offer flower, view the body, and then you will come this way, take the flower, offer it, and then you can exit. We will give the daughters-in-law, the daughter, some of the grandchildren who did not have the opportunity, sisters, nieces, nephews, and so, that opportunity first, and then we will extend it to the wider public. So we want to have a very seamless, smooth, swift transaction at this point, and then we will conclude. Govinda Bhagavan ki Jai.
द्वार तुम्हारी आओ, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे, मन ही मन शर्माओ, मैली चादर ओढ़ते से तूने मुझको जग में भेजा, देकर निर्मल काया, आकर की संसार में मैंने इसको दाग लगाया। जन्म जन्म की मैली चादर अब क्या मैली चादर ओढ़त कैसे प्यार तुम्हारी आओ, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे, मन ही मन शर्माओ, मैली चादर ओढ़त कैसे निर्मल बानी पाकर तुझसे नामन तेरा गाया, नैन मूंझ कर हे परमेश्वर कभी ना तुझको ध्याया, मन वीणा की तार तूती अब क्या गीत सुनाओ, मैली चादर ओढ़त कैसे द्वार तुम्हारी आओ, हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे, मन ही मन शर्माओ, मैली चादर ओढ़त कैसे इन पैरों से चल कर तेरा मंदिर कभी न आया, जहाँ जहाँ हो पूजा तेरे कभी ना शीश झुकाया, हे हरिहर मैं हार की आया, अब क्या हार चढ़ाओ, मैली चादर ओढ़त कैसे द्वार तुम्हारी आओ, परमेश्वर मेरे मन ही मन करमाऊं। पहली चार पहली चार प्रेम करो श्री वृंदावन श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार। जन्म जन्म की प्यास हमारी, जन्म जन्म की प्यास हमारी, क्यों ही बुझावन हार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार। जानन दीना ध्यानन कीना, जानन दीना ध्यानन कीना, कैसे होवे पार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार। हरिद्वारा गंगा और काशी, हरिद्वारा गंगा और काशी, देखने एक बार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार। सब तीरथ है प्रभु चरणन में, सब तीरथ है प्रभु चरणन में, शालिग्राम बलिहार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार हे मनवा, ले चल प्रभु जी के द्वार। प्रेम करो श्री वृंदावन श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। वनवासी मोहि राम, ढूंढन तो ये कित जाओ, वनवासी मोहि राम, ढूंढन तो ये कित जाओ। युग युग नाग निहारो रे मैं, राम ही राम पुकारू रे मैं, युग युग बात निहारो रे मैं, राम ही राम पुकारू रे मैं। नैना गंगा बहाओ, नैना गंगा बहाओ रे, बनवासी मोहि राम, ढूंढन तो ये कित जाओ। रोम रोम को नयन लगावे, जो मैं तोरे दर्शन पावे, रोम रोम को नयन लगावे, जो मैं तोरे दर्शन पाऊं। चरण धूल बन जाऊं, प्रेम फूलों से अयोध्यापति रामचंद्र के जय।
So in 2 minutes we will be concluding. We join our palms as we offer salutations to that Lord. Krishna Gopal Hare Ye Deen Dayal Hare Krishna Gopal Hare Ye Deen Dayal Hare तुम ही कारत तुम ही कारण तुम ही कारत तुम ही कारण परम कृपाल हरे ये दीन दयाल हरे कृष्ण गोपाल हरे ये दीन दयाल कृष्ण गोपाल हरे ये दीन दयाल हरे कृष्ण गोपाल हरे ये दीन दयाल हरे कृष्ण गोपाल हरे ये दीन दयाल हरे। Let's take some flowers in your hands and come on this side. Sisters and brothers, I invite all of you to please stand as we're about to conclude our Antishti for this morning at the home, and then we will proceed to the cremation site. Once the body is placed into the hearse, we will head directly to the Mosquito Creek, the shore of peace, and then following that we will have the other concluding rituals. We bend our heads and pray. Om Anadinidano Deva Shankachakra Galadara Akshaya Pundare Kaksha Pretamoksha Prado Bhava Pretamoksha Prado Bhava Om Krishna Krishna Kripalo Tvam Gatinam Gatir Bhava Sansaranavam Prasida Purushotamaha Prasida Purushotamaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. May the Atman of Sri James Isaac be embraced by that Lord and Master, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Offer the flowers, fellows, and hold on either side of the coffin. I will tell you when to lift it. We will always move with the feet facing forward, so you will know how to walk. Those on this side will stand holding with your left hand. Those on the other side will stand holding with your right. I'll tell you when to bend your heads, everyone. Hari Om Prehi Prehi Atiti Bhiya Purnenaya Yanamadheya Purvapitaraha Paritaha Ubharajano Sadhyaya Madanto Yamma Pashyasi Varunam Chadevam. Uncle James, you lived a very simple life, but today you are leaving this home and leaving this world as a king, as a great, great soul. Yamo no gatum pratamo yadivedam aneshaya gapyo tiraya parabhartavaya यत्राणः पूर्वापितरः परेताय ईनाय यज्ञानामायथाय अस्वा यज्ञानाम पथ्याय अस्वा यज्ञानाम पथ्या अस्वाहा हरि ओम। गोविंद भगवान की जय। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय राम।
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri